Rick is sitting in his ergonomic chair. The room is quiet. The only sound is the low hum of his computer fans and the rhythmic clicking of his mouse. Rick isn't a gambler. He isn't a novice who just funded an account with his rent money. Rick is educated. He has studied smart money concepts. He understands liquidity sleeps. He has a trading plan printed out and taped to the wall right next to his monitor. This morning, Rick is feeling good. He is disciplined. He watched the initial opening volatility without chasing price. He sat on his hands, waiting for his specific setup. And then he sees it. On the 5-minute time frame for gold, price taps perfectly into a 15-minute order block. It aligns with the Fibonacci retracement. The volume is confirming the move. It is a textbook A+ setup, the kind of setup you frame and put on a wall. Rick checks his risk. He calculates his lot size. He places his limit order. He places his stop loss exactly 5 pips below the swing low, just like his strategy dictates. He is calm. His heart rate is steady at 65 beats per minute. He executes the trade. For the first 3 minutes, the trade looks beautiful. The candles turn green. Rick is up 0.5 R. He leans back in his chair, taking a sip of coffee. He feels that warm glow of validation, the feeling that says, I understand this market, I am in sync. But then, the algorithm shifts. A single violent red candle prints. It's fast. Faster than human reaction time. It slams down, piercing through the order block. Rick leans forward. His eyes widen. He watches the price line approach his stop loss. Come on, he whispers. Hold the level. Hold. The price ticks down. It touches his stop loss line, and then it pushes through by exactly 1 point. One single tick. His broker triggers the exit. The position is closed. The loss is realized. Rick stares at the screen. A small ping of disappointment hits him, but he's a professional, right? Losses happen. But then, the market does the one thing Rick cannot handle. 10 seconds after stopping him out, the price stops falling. It stalls, and then, aggressively, violently, it reverses. A massive green engulfing candle rips upwards. It reclaims the level. It pushes higher. It goes exactly where Rick thought it would go. If he was still in the trade, he would be profitable right now. He watches as the price hits his take-profit target. Rick is no longer leaning back. He is hunched over the desk. The coffee is forgotten. Physically, he is safe in his room, but chemically, a bomb just went off in his brain. He feels a hot flush creep up his neck. His hands start to tremble, just slightly. His heart rate isn't 65 anymore. It's hammering at 110. He stares at that green candle leaving without him. It feels personal. It doesn't feel like a statistical variance. It feels like theft. It feels like the market reached into his pocket, took his wallet, slapped him in the face, and then ran away laughing. A voice in his head, a voice that is loud, primitive, and aggressive, starts screaming. No, this is wrong. You were right. The analysis was perfect. You shouldn't have lost money. You need to fix this. Rick grabs the mouse. His knuckles are white. He doesn't look at his checklist on the wall. He doesn't look at the news. He looks at the red number on his P&L. Minus 500. I just need to get that 500 back, he thinks. If I double my lot size, I only need to catch half the move, and I'll be back to break even. Nobody has to know. He switches the lot size. He doubles it. He presses buy. Market execution. No limit order, no patience, just pure impulse. He enters right at the top of the candle. The moment he clicks, the momentum dies. The price stalls again, and then it rolls over. The drawdown starts immediately. Minus 200, minus 600, minus 1,000. Rick freezes. He stops breathing. He moves his stop loss lower because he can't take another loss right now. He bargains with the screen. Just come back to entry, please. Just let me out at break even. The market doesn't care. The market keeps dropping. 20 minutes later, Rick's account is down 5%. He closes the trade in a panic. He sits in silence. The anger is gone. Now, there is only a sick, heavy feeling in his stomach. The feeling of shame. He knows exactly what he just did. He knows better, but he couldn't stop himself. Does this story sound familiar? I want you to be honest. Have you been Rick? Are you Rick right now? If you are, don't turn this video off. Because what just happened to Rick wasn't a lack of intelligence. It wasn't a lack of strategy. It was a biological hijack. And unless you understand the mechanics of this hijack, you will repeat this cycle until your account balance is zero. Welcome to the dark side of trading psychology. We need to dissect what just happened. We need to perform an autopsy on that trade. Most people think the most dangerous emotion in trading is fear, or maybe greed. They are wrong. The single most expensive emotion in the world, the emotion that has destroyed more capital than every bear market in history combined, is injustice. When Rick lost that first trade, it wasn't the financial loss that triggered him. It was the perceived unfairness. I did the work. I followed the rules. I deserve the reward. That is the lie. That is the toxicity of the fairness fallacy. The market is not a meritocracy. The market is a mechanism for price discovery. It does not know you exist. It does not care about your mortgage, your dreams, or your perfectly drawn trend lines. But your brain cares deeply. Let's look at the neuroscience of what happened to Rick. This is not metaphors. This is biology. The human brain has evolved over millions of years, but not for trading. It evolved for survival on the savannah. We have two primary operating systems. System 1 is the amygdala, the lizard brain. It is fast, emotional, and reactive. Its job is to keep you alive. It handles the fight or flight response. System 2 is the prefrontal cortex, the human brain. It handles logic, mathematics, probability, and future planning. When Rick is backtesting on a Sunday afternoon, System 2 is in charge. He is rational. He is a CEO. But when that price wicked him out and reversed, his brain perceived a threat. To your amygdala, losing money feels exactly the same as physical pain. The same neural pathways light up. When the amygdala detects this pain, it hits the panic button. It floods the bloodstream with cortisol, stress hormone, and adrenaline. And here is the critical part, the part you must understand. When this chemical flood happens, a process called cortical inhibition occurs. Basically, the emotional brain steals the blood flow and electricity from the logical brain. It literally unplugs your prefrontal cortex. Your IQ drops. You lose the ability to think in probabilities. You lose the ability to perceive the future consequences of your actions. Your time horizon collapses from next month to right now. Rick didn't forget his plan. His plan was physically inaccessible to him. He was no longer a trader. He was a cornered animal fighting a threat. That second trade, the one where he doubled the lot size, that wasn't a trade. That was a punch. He was trying to punch the market back. He was trying to assert dominance over a math equation. This state is called the tilt. And once you are in it, you cannot think your way out of it. You cannot use willpower to stop it. Using willpower requires the prefrontal cortex. And remember, that part of your brain is offline. Attempting to stop a revenge trade with logic is like trying to put out a forest fire with a math textbook. It doesn't work. You need a completely different approach. You need a protocol. Before I give you the solution, I need to warn you about the trap within the trap. There is a scenario worse than Rick losing that second trade. Do you know what it is? It's Rick winning that second trade. Imagine Rick gets angry, doubles his size, enters blindly, and the market coincidentally turns around and gives him a massive profit. He makes back his loss, plus extra. He closes the day green. He feels like a genius. He feels like a gladiator who defeated the beast. This is the worst thing that can happen to a trader. Why? Because his brain just learned a deadly lesson. His brain just registered when we feel angry and ignore the rules, we get rewarded. This is called random reinforcement. It is the same psychological hook that keeps people addicted to slot machines. If you stick your hand in a fire and it burns, you learn not to do it again. But if you stick your hand in a fire and sometimes you get burned, but sometimes you pull out a gold bar, you will keep sticking your hand in a fire until you lose the arm. If you have ever revenge traded and won, you have a virus in your system. You have subconsciously taught yourself that discipline is optional. Eventually, the law of large numbers will catch up. The market will move against your oversized, emotional position, and it won't stop. That is the day you lose everything, not just the profit, but the deposit. So, how do we break this loop? How do we stop a biological reaction that is faster than our conscious thought? We cannot rely on our mind. Our mind is the trader. We must rely on the body. We must treat the onset of revenge trading not as a discipline issue, but as a medical emergency. I have developed a system for this. It is used by the traders I mentor who manage 6- and 7-figure accounts. It is called the Drawdown Defense Protocol. It consists of 4 non-negotiable steps. You do not think about them, you execute them. This protocol is your seatbelt. You don't put on your seatbelt after the crash. You put it on before you drive. You need to memorize this. Write it down. Tape it to your monitor. Step 1. The biofeedback recognition, the check engine light. You need to become an expert in your own physiology. Long before your finger clicks that mouse for a revenge trade, your body is screaming at you. You need to catch the tilt in the incubation phase. What are your symptoms? It is different for everyone, but here are the classics. The heat. Do your ears get hot? Does your neck flush? The stare. Do you find yourself staring at the current candle without blinking? Is your vision tunneling? The grip. Are you clenching the mouse or the armrest of your chair? The vocalization. Are you swearing at the screen? The urge. That magnetic pull to click buy or sell immediately to relieve the tension. The moment, and I mean the exact millisecond, you notice any of these symptoms, you must say out loud, Code Red, I am compromised. Acknowledgement is the first step. You are admitting that your logic is offline. Step 2. The physical sever, the pattern interrupt. This is where 99% of traders fail. They try to sit in the chair and calm down. You cannot calm down while staring at the stimulus that is making you angry. As long as candles are moving in front of your eyes, your amygdala is pumping cortisol. You are still in the cage with the tiger. You must execute a physical sever. You must stand up, you must push the chair back, you must leave the room. I don't care if you have an open position. I don't care if the market is moving. If you are compromised, you are dangerous to your own capital. Walk out of the room. Close the door. You need to break the visual connection to the market. Step 3. The physiological reset. The mammalian dive reflex. Now that you are out of the room, you have a lot of adrenaline in your blood. You need to flush it out. Breathing is good, but it's too slow for a severe tilt. We need something stronger. We're going to use a biological hack called the mammalian dive reflex. Go to the bathroom. Turn on the cold water. Ice cold. Splash it on your face. Hold it there for 10 to 15 seconds. Or submerge your face in a bowl of cold water. When cold water hits the area around your eyes and nose, your body receives a signal from the vagus nerve. It thinks you have fallen into deep water. Instinctively, it slows your heart rate down to preserve oxygen. It is an automatic override switch for your nervous system. It forces your body to switch from sympathetic, fight or flight, to parasympathetic, rest and digest. Do this twice. Then, do 10 push-ups. Or, walk outside and look at the horizon. You need to move the blood from your emotional center to your muscles. Step 4. The time lock. The 15-minute rule. This is the rule that saves careers. You are not allowed to touch the trading desk for 15 minutes. Why 15 minutes? Because that is the biological half-life of an adrenaline spike. It takes roughly 15 minutes for the chemicals to metabolize and leave your bloodstream enough for your prefrontal cortex to reboot. If you go back after 5 minutes, you are still drunk on rage. Set a timer on your phone. 15 minutes. During this time, you are not a trader. You are a patient in recovery. Step 5. The re-entry permit. The logic test. The timer rings. 15 minutes are up. You feel calmer. The heat is gone from your face. You return to your desk. But you cannot just start trading. You must earn your re-entry permit. Sit down. Look at the chart. Look at the setup you are about to take, the revenge trade. Ask yourself this specific question. If I had just woken up right now with 0 losses today, and I saw this chart for the first time, would I take this trade? If the answer is no, or maybe, then you shut down the charts. You are done for the session. You have successfully defended your capital. If the answer is yes, this is actually a valid setup according to my plan, then you may proceed. But, and this is crucial, you proceed with standard risk. Not double risk, standard risk. If you cannot trust yourself to use standard risk, you are not ready to trade. Walk away. The protocol works. But to fix this permanently, you need to change your identity. You are acting like a gambler. A gambler is emotionally attached to the outcome of the next event. If the roulette ball lands on red, he is happy. If it lands on black, he is sad. He lives and dies by every spin. You need to become the casino. Think about the casino manager. He walks the floor. He watches millions of dollars change hands. When a player hits a jackpot and wins $10,000, does the casino manager get angry? Does he try to trip the player as he walks out? Does he scream, "I need that money back"? No. He buys the player a drink. He smiles. Why? Because he knows the math. He knows that he has an edge, a statistical advantage. He knows that over a series of 10,000 spins, the casino always wins. One loss means nothing. It is just an operating expense. It is the cost of doing business. Rick, the guy from our story, lost his mind because he thought that one trade defined him. He thought the loss was a judgment on his character. The professional trader views a loss differently. A loss is just data. A loss is the tuition fee you pay to the market to find out what isn't working. When you execute your edge perfectly and still lose, you should not feel anger. You should feel pride. Yes, pride, because you followed the process. You acted like a professional. The outcome was random, but the execution was flawless. If you can be proud of a losing trade because you followed your rules, you have defeated revenge trading. Building this defense mechanism takes time. You will fail. You will have days where the Rick inside you wins. You will slip up. That's okay. Forgive yourself, but don't ignore it. Every time you catch yourself getting angry and you choose to stand up and walk away, you are rewriting your brain's neural pathways. You are physically changing your brain structure from a gambler's brain to a trader's brain. Start today. The next time you feel that heat rise, don't fight the market. The market will always win a fistfight. Fight the instinct. Stand up. Walk away. Splash the water. Protect the capital. Building this defense mechanism on your own takes time. And in trading, time costs money. If this breakdown resonated with you, if you realize that your strategy is fine, but your defense system is broken, you don't have to build this from scratch. I have extracted the exact emergency brake system from the elite-funded Mind Academy and packaged it into a surgical, tactical intervention called the Drawdown Defense Protocol. This isn't a long, boring theory course. It is an action plan designed to save your funded account before it's too late. Now look at the math. A new prop firm challenge costs anywhere from $100 to $500. The Drawdown Defense Protocol costs just $27. That is less than the cost of a single stop loss on a micro account. If this system saves you from blowing up just one account in your entire career, it has paid for itself 20 times over. Don't wait for the next drawdown to force you to learn. Install your defense system today. Check the link in the description.